10 to 8 on Sunday, the 21st of March. And this morning we're hearing from people who can help us get our mind and souls on the road to recovery after the last 12 months as we look at the anniversary of lockdown. We may still have some way to go yet, but it is important, we think, to take a moment to acknowledge what we've been through so far. So we're hearing this morning from Holly Matthews, who's a life coach and a happiness guru. And many of us will have lost someone this last year to COVID or not, and some will be mourning the loss of normality. So Holly, who lost her own husband 3 years ago at the age of 35, has some pretty profound thoughts on grief and loss.
Over the last year, we have all collectively grieved a time that we expected to be different, a year that we thought we were going to have but didn't. Some of you have lost family members to COVID and to other things during a global pandemic, which has been extremely difficult. Funerals have been different. Being around those that are dying has been different. And so grief has come up in a huge way for people. As a widow and as somebody who has had big loss in my life, my thoughts on grief are this. Grief doesn't come in the stages of grief like we think it should, like we get told it will. Grief is not a linear process. Grief and dealing with a change in our lives that we didn't ask for is something that will be a constant learning process for us. My belief in pain of any kind, but more specifically grief and loss and trauma, is if you imagine you have this pain, let's use your fist as the pain, your fist, this big lump of pain or trauma that you're carrying around with us. Our job is not to fight that pain and deny its existence or say, well, I didn't want it. I want my year back. I want the year back. I want the person back. Our job is not to do that because it's a fruitless exercise and it will just cause us more pain to do that. Our job is to build our life around the painful thing. So big, so full of joy, so exciting and wonderful and amazing that the painful thing doesn't seem as big. And it might still come up for us at points. Of course it will. We will still acknowledge and nod and think about our people, and it will sometimes still cause us pain. But the more joy we can bring into our worlds, the less that pain will sting. And I'm sending so much love to you all. A book that I would really recommend that has just been launched this week is We All Know How This Ends by Anna Lyons and Louise Winter. It's a book about death and lessons about life and living from working with death and dying. And I've just started reading it. It's really useful in acknowledging all of the things around grief and loss.